Okay, so now that we have our rack created, the challenge is that all of these chains are going to be playing at the same time. And if we do this live, it's going to create this nasty cacophony, chaotic sound. What we really want to be able to do is use a knob, which makes it very accessible in a live show, one single knob, to smoothly move between all of the different effects. And how we can do that is with the Audio Effects built-in chain feature, which we activate by pressing the chain button. If we want to hide this later, we can click hide. So we're going to have our chain open, and what you can see way in here, small, is each one has a little blue bar which indicates its area where it will be selected. As you can see, the chain selector up here, which you can move around, is by default on 0. Each one is set with a little tiny blue bar at 0. Now this is hard to see, so a lot of people don't even notice this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click in the window here, and we're going to select all by pressing Command A or Control A. And we're going to drag all these out so that each one now dominates the entire range. Then we right-click in this window and we select Distribute Ranges Equally. Now what this does is it gives each of the effects chains its own discrete region. So what this means is now when we move the chain selector, only our top chain, the auto filter, will be activated and moving. So if we move this up a little bit further, it's going to select our next chain, our next chain, our next chain, and so on. Now one edit we want to make is we also want to have an area where it's bypassing. So we select this top range and we just move this up to 1, and you can see now if the chain selector is all the way down at 0, it's actually going to be bypassing our effects, and it'll be a nice clean sound all the way through the chain. And if we want to actually activate the effects, then we move up here. So moving the chain selector with the mouse is not something you want to be doing obviously at a live show, so we're going to use Ableton Live's MIDI mapping feature and a MIDI controller to map the chain selector to a knob. So we activate MIDI map mode, lights everything up purple, we click on the chain selector, and then we turn a MIDI knob on our MIDI controller. We exit MIDI mapping mode. Now you can see our MIDI knob is now controlling the chain selector. So let's take a listen to how that sounds like playing our drum loop. You can see we've actually generated one error in this process because when we go to 0, there's actually no chain that's selected, so we're not getting any sound passing through. So how we will absolve ourselves of that challenge is we right-click in the Drop Audio Effects chain, the Drop Audio Effects here, and we go Create Chain. Now we've created one final chain, and you can see that chain is now occupying the 0 region, and this is effectively our bypass chain. We can even rename this bypass. So now, when our knob's all the way down at 0, this will actually allow the clean signal to pass through. Now, as one final note, we can take it a step further. So you can see here that each of these regions here is discrete, meaning that one plays and then the other plays. We have one more feature in our audio effects racks, again, that virtually and almost never see anybody using, which is the ability to crossfade between them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drag our little bars here to create overlaps. And you'll notice that each of the larger, darker blue bars has a lighter, thinner bar at the top. And what this does, if you drag it, is this will actually allow you to crossfade. You have to be careful with them, they're a bit finicky. Crossfade between the two. So if we move all of these and crossfade them properly into place, what this will now allow us to do is to not only move between the different effects chains, but to really morph between them. So we'll get a blend, just like using a crossfader on a DJ mixer, we get a blend of the two effects. So the way I like to set it up is so there's an area where it's blending, and there's an area here where it's exclusively the one effect. Our MIDI knob is still active, so now what we're going to do is play the drum loop and smoothly morph in between our different effects chains. Here's what it sounds like. And that is how to create a audio effects smart knob in Ableton Live using the audio effects rack feature. You can see now how creating your own custom audio effects racks like this would be very useful for adding into the live environment. I have a variety of custom Vespers audio racks and smart knobs that I've created, and I use them live on my shows using MIDI controllers, and just gives me an incredible amount of access to different types of effects from single knobs, and I love using these things in the live environment. Ableton Live is one of the only programs that allows this kind of modular stacking of effects, and this is one of the most amazing features of the program that I just love. So hope you enjoyed the tutorial today. Keep an eye on the other ones. I'm going to be doing one very soon that uses a smart knob using MIDI effects instead of audio effects, so keep an eye out for that one. And come back and sign up for the newsletter on the site. I send out on occasion actually some of my custom racks and custom knobs, so if you liked these guys, I do send out some of my custom Vespers ones to the subscribers on my newsletter. And thanks again for watching. I'm Vespers, an Ableton certified trainer, music producer, and performer, and I educate computer musicians how to rock out with live using HD screencast tutorials. Talk to you soon. Catch you on the next episode.